Hi, this is Belinda from Belinda Lee Briggs Web Design. This video is to walk you through how to manage your website. The very first thing I'm going to do is to talk you through some of the custom code that is on the website doing a few different things. And then I'll start to address how to just keep up the content on the website. And finally, I won't go through how to modify the design, the colors, and the fonts. What I'm going to do in lieu of that is send you some information that is on Squarespace's support website, because they make changes from time to time, and anything I go over now, design related, may have been enhanced by the time you watch this video, and I don't want to create any confusion. And in addition, there is a PDF guide, which I'm not sure if I'm going to link it with the video or if I'm just going to send it along. I'd love to have it as a resource available to you and to anyone in the future who might want to manage the website. It's something to indicate how the posts are linked together in regards to how when you look at a doctor's specific posts, how their programs and services, as well as the location that doctor works in or locations are all linked together, and that will be a separate document as well. I may link it in the video or find another way to make that available to you. So let's get started. The custom code on this website, there are really three elements to it. The first is this accessibility menu. The second is the donate feature. And the third is this rotating banner here on the home page. So let's address these one at a time. If you go to Settings, Advanced, and then Code Injection, you can see here is the code for the Fundraise Up plugin that is utilized and called with the donate button here. The site's gone into its mobile view because I've squeezed it over to this really small side view. So that's why you're seeing this kind of interesting look here. This is what it would look like on a mobile phone. So that is the first piece of code. And the way it's accessed on the page is simply this button element uses this anchor tag, as it were, and that is how the two elements connect together, the code and then the button. And you can see here the details of the button connecting and also your special code. I don't have any more details about the Fundraise Up, how to log in or anything like that. I just have the information on the code necessary to utilize the plugin. I scraped this from the old WordPress site. The second item is the accessibility menu here. It's configured on your userway.org account, but if you go out to userway.org, it actually explains to you how to control the positioning, the size, the color. Their documentation is pretty good. The key element here is that it links to your account. So you can change what this looks like, whether it's a button. Okay. And then the final element. Let's just scroll through here. Make sure we covered everything. Yep. Excellent. The final piece of code controls the banners on the home page. You're set up so that when someone comes and sees your site, they are going to have 3 banners. And again, we talked about there's really no sense in having more than 1 or 2 banners, because no one is going to come and sit on your site and watch as the banners all rotate through. The original Care Alliance recommendation was to have 10 banners, but honest best practices for user experience is 3. You could go as much as 5, but honestly, it's wasted effort on your part because everyone is too busy to just sit there and watch banners slide through. They're going to scroll down and see what else is on the rest of your page and move through. So the code that controls those banners is right here. And just backtracking, we went to Home and clicked on the gear icon to get to Settings. From here, we're going to choose Advanced. And then here are the details on the slider. So we're telling it to start at banner section, at the section 2 on the page, and it ends at section 4. This sets the timer, and that it actually automatically rotates on itself and sets itself to be dots. And so you can adjust these settings in here if you desire, particularly if you decide to take away a banner or add a banner. You would want to add another image section and tell this that you want it to end at section 5 if that was the case. You could also speed it up or slow it down. But again, this was designed with best user experience practices in mind. And so the way it works, when you're editing it, you'll see this is section 1 and the slider begins at section 2. So the first section is this image area, and we'll have this image area, and then finally the third image area. And again, when we're editing, it looks like we're scrolling down through images, but when someone comes and visits that site, the code kicks in and they see just this top block here. Okay, and so now I'm going to actually walk you through how to edit the site. So here we just simply have buttons, and they point you to different locations. And we're using a hex code to pull in the little magnifying glass icon in there. And then, as a good rule of thumb, we say when you're navigating to internal pages, we don't want those pages to open up in another window. We want to keep people on the site. But if we direct people off of the website, we do want to choose the toggle. I don't know why. The open a new window toggle. I'm not sure why this is taking so long to bring up the pages on the site. I'm going to assume I have a not great network connection. This area, this is just a text block that you can come in and edit right in here. And that little edit area is kind of getting in my way, but you can see that you could just put your mouse in and move through and edit. This is a hot link. If someone clicks on that from their smartphone, it will actually dial for them. So when you're ready to change out the banners, this is going to be the banner that someone sees when they first come to the site. This is your number 2 section, also your number 1 banner. It's very easy to edit. For the title and the information in here, you just click in here and you can change it, and it'll allow you to do some formatting as well. And then this Call Now button is actually edited within the image itself. So we click the pencil icon, and if you wanted to, oh my gosh, my internet is slow right now. I can see it loading. So let's talk about image best practices. Images for the web, we want to think about how they're going to generally be presented to the user. So if we estimate that, a large size screen is 1900 pixels and larger, for something that's only going to take up half the screen, you're only going to need something that's 800 or 900 pixels. So a rule of thumb is for a banner that goes the full width of the page, you want that image to be 2500 pixels wide. A good rule of thumb is about 1000 pixels long, but it's really variable. And then finally, so for something like this, 1000 pixels is plenty. And then for file size, we want to keep it under 500 kilobytes. That is good for SEO, it's good for page loading, it's great for user experience, particularly if someone is on a cell phone and does not have good connection. We want to make sure the site comes down quickly for them so they can access what they need. Okay, not sure why my internet is not being super agreeable with me right now, but this style of image is called collage. Our picture is set to the right. If we want it to the left, we can just make that quick switch. We have it set with a button, and it should change the text, which says call now, or button text. You just edit it, and then here we have it set so it's actually a phone. We have the phone in there, and so it works like a hot link for them. And then, of course, this one does as well. We want to make sure that we're providing that phone number for someone who's not on a mobile device when they're looking. We want them to be able to see it and type it. Okay, and so that goes the same for these other 3 sections. Yeah, it's having a problem with my connection grabbing images. The next section is just text. And then the more interesting thing is the selection of colors in here. When you go in through the styles, you can actually set up a bunch of color profiles. And then it's just easy as choosing a different color profile. And these are all editable. And again, appear to have a pretty darn slow internet connection tonight. Okay, I'm going to keep scrolling. I think that's going to change eventually for us. Okay, and then we have 2 more sections here. Just text and a couple of buttons. Pretty easy to edit. Now we move into the services section. So this is another section. You can see that we've got that pencil selected, and we're controlling our section height and width and where our content is aligned pretty easily on here. And then we've chosen the dark minimal. So we're getting that nice white text with the blue background. And again, all of this is changeable. If you change dark minimal in the color settings, you will change it not just on this page, but on every page that uses this theme. So you want to think about that as you're making adjustments, that it may change something in more than one location. These are all images. Ooh, and my computer is really not agreeing with me today. But so this is a poster style image, and we could choose to have a button, but having a page that is filled with buttons is pretty distracting. So we want to let people get the sense that these are all clickable, and we even indicate with the text, click here to learn more, and they can click anywhere on the image to get brought to these pages. So swapping out the image is done here on the content tab, and I apologize, this isn't loading up very well. This would have a delete button and also an edit button. Oh, and the pictures are named considering trying search engine optimization. Something people might be searching for. And then these are editable right within here. This is the link. And again, my internet connection is just really poor today. So this whole section is just a series of images. And then we repeat it down here. Another series of images showing up to show you where the programs are. So and then the programs, it's another page section with a so in the programs, we have another section, and you can see again the color here. The color theme is white bold. And then we just have another whole set of images connecting to each of the services and programs that are available, or the programs that are available. The Caroline's team wanted to break that out. And finally, we have a couple of summary blocks here, which go and look at the news blog to pull in information. And then this one actually looks at the events calendar to pull in the information. And so you change what's here simply by actually adding a new news blog entry or by adding a new event entry. There's nothing to edit or keep up on the home page. Anything you add will automatically get added. And then these links let people jump through and see whatever else is available. And here we have the ability to scroll through to other events by clicking on those arrows. Finally, we have another set of image, and these are all about getting involved. And here we did utilize the buttons just to make it look a little different from the sections above. Also very straightforward to edit. oh, now our image editor is working. You could delete or crop, and then here, change the text and where it goes to. This is an anchor tag, and it means that we're jumping to that specific section of the giving page. So what we want to do is make so someone who heads over to giving and they look through the friends section, they'll also be able to see the other opportunities to get involved from within the same page. Finally, we have the footer. This is on every page of the website. And to edit the footer, there we go. We hover over and we see that button. These are a bunch of text links so that someone who's made it down to the bottom of the page and now is wondering where to go, we're trying to give them the most helpful links and at the same time not present them with everything. We don't want to be overwhelming, and that's why we present the search bar. So if someone who's gotten here hasn't found what they're particularly looking for, will have the option to come in and just type it in and kind of prevent themselves from being frustrated by not finding what they're looking for. We give them the option. And then finally, we have a newsletter. Here, it's not linked up to anything currently because there was thought to be an existing newsletter tool, but this can be linked pretty readily. The Squarespace email campaigns is an option by default, but there are other email services you can connect to, like MailChimp, or you could use Zapier or just put things out to a Google Sheets on a Google Drive. And finally, you could remove this entirely, and you could add an embed block, and then actually add embed code for your newsletter service of choice for their sign up if you don't like any of the options that are available. Okay, I'm going to just delete that. So that's the home page. We're going to discard any changes. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to head back up here and just a quick reminder, all of these links define the navigation. Anywhere there's a folder, there's a drop down. And then these links just connect to other pages on the website. So you can actually connect to a page and then call it something slightly different that is more easily navigable or smaller to fit the area. And so we're directing them to a page. You can type in ahead a page and it will actually show you what pages are available to link to. Okay, and the reason why we don't place the pages up here in the main navigation is I like to have the pages in alphabetical order so it's easy to find what you're looking for rather than trying to figure out where something lives in the navigation. You can just come down here in the unlinked section or the not linked section and look for it alphabetically. So everything is alphabetical with the exception of two things. All of the patient pages are grouped together in here, and then they're alphabetical within here just because these are all pretty connected. And so if you're, so it made sense to group the patient pages together in the navigation. And then finally, all of the things where we're going to be doing any type of data entry, those are all grouped together here under this folder again to try to make it easier that you're just centrally going to one location to make any of those changes. So the storage for the annual reports, adding events, updating or creating new healthcare providers, updating or adding new job opportunities. If there's a new clinic opened or a clinic closed, you would maintain that here in this area. Those news articles from the homepage right here, those are all entered in here in the news. These are all of these ones that look like they're a calligraphy pen are all technically blogs, but we kind of use them as a storage system for any type of information where there might be more than one piece of very similar information. And then finally, the programs and services are stored in here. And we will go through these one by one. I'm going to hit all of the other pages first and then circle back here last. Okay, some of the pages are super straightforward. We have the About Us page. And again, there was a lot of asking for visual navigation. So we created these visual navigation elements here. They're just images, and they're actually linked to sections that are further down the page. So this Our History image is actually linked via a jump link to the Our History section further down the page. So let me show you how that works. So we have several sections on this page: Our History, Board of Directors, Community Board, Annual Reports, Our Partnerships, and everything. And then those same sections are represented here further down the page. These are all just individually edited. And the same with these. These can all be individually edited. They're not driven by a storage system or a blog in the back. Everything here you just edit right on the page. Just like in the other images we've seen elsewhere. You would set this. This focal point's really important. You want it always to be kind of on the bridge of the nose between the eyes when you're doing a setup for a person or a face. These are for when it resizes itself down to a mobile format, so we don't lose any of the integrity of the photo. This section is annual reports, and we're using a summary block to pull in any annual reports entered into the annual reports blog, so this will dynamically update. You won't have to edit it. And then finally, there's a text area here with our partnerships in it. And then we show the locations, which is a summary block that is pulling in all of the entries in the locations and hours blog. And then we're back down to the footer.